Hi, Julie.
Hi, Tina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Mercury retrograde once again
Mercury
got us.
retrograde and five other planets
That's
retrograde.
right. A lot.
So, guess what? We do a weekly live show, but we're usually on Facebook. And because Facebook is down, we are doing this on YouTube, and this is our very first time. So
Right?
we can't even tell our group, or
No.
those that follow us on Facebook that we're here. So I hope they just figure it out or they are divinely guided to come here. Yeah. So
Yes, I'm
welcome.
hoping. I'm hoping that
Yeah,
they're bored because no one's on Facebook. So they're like, well, let's check YouTube out. And here we are.
that's right. That's right. So Julie's going to keep an eye on things to see how that's going because I have no idea.
I'm going to try. I don't see
So
us yet,
those,
but
yeah, so those that are new here, because we're just waiting for people to come view, welcome. Julie and I, we get together just about every Monday, and we talk about things related to energies, the spiritual world, esoteric world. So that would include like numerology, tarot, spirit animals, psychic stuff, anything psychic. So
yes.
we welcome viewers to, join in the chat room, share a comment, share a question, an insight. Oh, I see one person here.
Oh, yes. Hey.
And if you're just watching, you're just watching. If you wanted to add anything in the chat room, that's great too. There's no
Yes.
pressure from us. We're unscripted too. Like we don't follow a script. This is like we just
Right?
talk. Yeah, we
The
just
more the
talk and share.
merrier. Yes, come on
Yeah.
in. Let us know what you're thinking for. We talk about October energies, monthly energies, once a month we talk about. And that's what we're here for today.
Yeah. So we're just gonna do it. And if you're here, you're here. If not, you're not. So
That's right.
it's just Julie and me. Okay.
That's okay. We can talk anytime, you and I, about
That's
anything.
right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we
Right?
do. Even when we think, what are we going to talk about? We talk.
We do. We don't need an audience.
Yeah. So I should share too. Like Julie is in Arizona, and I'm in Arizona, USA. Nobody knows where that is. And I'm in Alberta, Canada, and we click.
Yes.
Since we've met, we click and I don't know, we have this connection that we're like soul sisters, and we decided to do this show. It's just over a year now,
Yeah.
and yeah, we have fun with it. And
Boy, we sure do. And we've learned that I think that you and I have learned the most is that we are so much alike all around the
mhm.
world, right? We always think we're in our own country with our own people and safe but we're so much alike. We grew up so much alike and
Yeah, I know.
right?
It's amazing. It's uncanny.
Wonderful.
It's
It
uncanny
is.
of how many similar things we have.
Yeah, for sure.
So, October 2021 is here. Fall, that's fall for those in the north, and spring in the southern hemisphere. So, yeah, and
Change of the
2020,
seasons.
change of the season. And I also want to say in numerology, the cycle year is coming to an end this month, even though when we look at our calendar, it's like, what? It's January to December. And it's like, no, with the cycles, my experience, I'm going by my experience. I find the cycles start changing about 2 months prior to when it begins, when the month. So for
Yeah.
January 2022, the year 2022, I should say, will start in November, not January, as far
Yay.
as numerology cycles. So yeah, yay. Yeah,
Well,
it's
ever
been,
since you told me this like 3 years ago, I think, maybe. And it is so true. 2 months before my birthday, 2 months before any event, it's exactly that way. The cycle, I can see it and feel it, and it's the new day in that
yeah.
month. So I'm excited for 21 to really come to an end.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know why? Because the 2021 is a 5 and it's about freedom And sometimes freedom is welcomed, right? We want to break free from something or away, but sometimes the freedom that's created or happens in our lives is not welcome. It's like, oh,
You know,
but we see it after, like hopefully like the gift of it will be realized after. That's the whole purpose of it.
yeah, and
And
it
changes.
does.
It's a
Yeah,
year of changes and mistakes, and like a lot of times, you don't know if like what's what, right? Like it was
right.
just, yeah. So I think people are looking, they want more stability, security. They want to feel like a sense of comfort now because everything's been
Yes.
up in the air, and it's like, and that's what the 2022 cycle will be. It'll be more comforting and
Yeah.
almost like home. Like I think people will want to feel like they're taken care of or embraced in some manner, and that's 2022 will bring
It
all
will.
that.
Yes. Cared about, feeling cared about.
Yes, yes,
Everyone's been so narrow minded, so myopic in these last couple of years. And now we're starting to look at other people now it's finally time to turn that around and look at your neighbor and your friend and your family member.
that's right. That's right. We do. It's like support. And
Mhm.
that's what the year is about. It's about like supporting and serving and taking care of each other. So we'll see how that goes. See how that
Yes.
goes.
Come on, spirit.
Mhm. But for now, we're going to just focus on the month. And so it's a
Yeah.
6 month in numerology. So we are going to get a preview of what 2022 will be. I mean, we're still having the effects of the 5 year cycle, but so the month is a six. So there's some, you know, new things like ushering in that will be like, oh, that'll give us, a taste of what 2022 will be about. And Julie, so we'll talk about the number and then the spirit animal that came through for the collective and
Yeah.
the tarot card,
Yes.
right? And Julie's the expert tarot person. I noticed a little bit because I don't do it. So
You do very well. You're a great tarot reader. You really are.
I
'Cause-
used to when I years and years ago, and then I put it aside because it was like numerology, and the regular cards were my thing. So, but
yeah.
anyways, so what do you want to talk about first?
Well, being a six, I had to pull out the Six of Swords tarot card. This is the Light Seers
Oh,
tarot deck, which is my favorite, as everyone knows. But moving on from troubled waters, really letting go of things that have been holding you back. We've been trying to find our freedom. Well, in doing so, you're seeing what's holding you back. To try to find
mhm,
that freedom, you have to experience the contrast of it, right?
yeah,
So we know what chains us. We know what bonds have chained us from really moving forward. And those have been family members, friends. It's been really hard with relationships, especially with
yes,
these retrogrades, right, Tina? It's just been so difficult to navigate through these long lasting relationships we've had because we've all changed so much. So
yeah, yeah. And the
that's
five
interesting.
and the
Yeah.
5 year, like the five, yeah. So the 5 year energy, it does not. I want to say it doesn't like relationship. It doesn't. It doesn't like to feel committed or tied down.
Yeah.
So it's
Because it's
always trying to.
experience. Right.
That's right, because it wants its freedom. It's like,
It's
I want to do
exactly
what
right.
I want to do, come and go as I please,
Yeah.
express myself freely. And if
Yeah.
you're holding me back, and it doesn't always have to be an intimate relationship, right? It doesn't have to
No,
be a marriage or a
no.
common law or living. It can be like with a family member. It can be with a pet. Sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah.
so a coworker, your workplace, like, yeah. So it's hard because it's
It's
like
hard.
you're trying to anything that makes you feel tied down, it's like you're trying to break free. So it's
Yeah,
the relationships take a hit. They do.
they
So
do because
yeah, they
you're
do.
so determined to find your freedom that you forget about the wake you're leaving behind you. And when we're all
Yeah,
in that mode, there's a wake of a lot of uh, discarded emotions, people. You feel like we've been in kind of a war that way with bonding our relationships, but it is all part of finding our freedom, of course. And
yeah,
when we break those bonds that have chained us, that we feel guilty about or obligated to continue, it can be a work relationship, even a career path, that you've put in. You went to school for something, and you graduate, and it's just not quite what you were thinking, so you want to change it up a little bit and maybe do a whole drastic change, that's happening too. So
Yeah.
but we're finding it's not what we thought it was going to be. We're not where we thought we were going to be, no matter what age you're at or what you're doing. So so we're breaking free of conditioning, and it's kind of the hierophant that way with institutionals. We've broken down these institutions. We've broken down these laws of mankind, really, because humanity has been in the balance here for a little while.
Yeah.
So that's what the 6 is. That is truly, now she's found her freedom. Now she's being guided by her intuition, by spirit, by nature, by what is important to me. What is freedom to me? You and I talk a lot about, there are people behind bars that have more freedom than others, because it's a state of mind is what freedom is when it breaks down to all of it. So she has found her freedom and she's moving on. So I think that's what we're doing.
Yeah. And it's also too, I want to say, things that are set free. Like how many things, because when people say, well, what does freedom mean? Freedom mean, right? Because that's a personal definition. And that, for me, I always like to break it down. It's about opening. So it opens up your mind, your eyes, your ears, your heart, your soul to something that you may have not seen or were closed off to. And it doesn't mean because you were ignorant or bad. It's just, it created this atmosphere or experience like, oh my gosh, really? Like, and then it puts you on the path to explore more, right? Yeah. So, I mean, like, how many things have been set free this past year? Like things like, oh, this is how that system really works. That's not good, right? We got to change that, right?
Yeah.
Because it creates changes. So
that's right.
And I just want to say, like, I think it was just yesterday in the news that one of the big stories is this, I think it's called Pandora's Box about, did you hear about that?
Mm-mm.
So all these offshore accounts from really big name, like from politicians, world leaders, celebrities, sports stars that have hidden their money in these offshore accounts. It's just been like it's in news stories around. Yeah, so I'm like, look, that's been set free. Pandora's box is a great example of a 5 energy. Like it opened up, and it's like, how many people now are looking at these individuals in a different light now?
Yeah, right. That's happened a lot this year. Yeah.
Right. So it makes us like, wonder, like, there's really nothing wrong with me. I can't get this far in life because of this, right? Like,
that's right.
So it's interesting. So it's creating changes, and it's almost like this last push. So,
exactly. Yeah.
Right. This month, that's what it's about. So I kind of think like, okay, you guys just try to, I want to say, keep calm this month. Like, this is the last month, like things will hit the roof or hit the fan or be, like explode, like this final push. Yeah.
Right. The shit has hit the fan already. Now we're on the other side.
Yeah. And it's surprising because 5 likes to surprise and shock as well. So it was like, when I looked at the list, I'm like, what? Like that was surprising to me. Like some of these names, it's like,
it's shocking. It is.
It's shocking.
We've learned so much from the financial markets. My husband, Michael, trades on the stock market. And when he started doing that and the things we learned of what's really going on, it was just, see, my dogs agree. Yeah. It was just so enlightening, though. It was terrifying, though, because those systems were coming down. We saw them coming down on a worldwide basis, too. It's not just Canada. It's not just the U.S. It's worldwide, where these systems have literally been torn down. And so hang in there, seriously, because you've been through the worst of it already. The change has happened, and that's the hard part. Those are the growing pains. Like we've all been elevating out of this. I think we've come into the new age of Aquarius too, didn't we? Weren't we in the age of Pisces not long ago, and now we are truly in the age of Aquarius? Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to say we're not astrologers, right?
No.
But we both like to follow astrology, so we know some stuff about it, right?
Yes.
But and we have our favorites, right? Like you have your favorite astrologers, I have mine. And so the few that I follow, like it's interesting. And then when I compare it to ones that I thought like, oh, I'll check this person out. There seems to be this debate of when it actually started.
Oh, maybe well, it's
Right.
still all growing pains through it, right? Transitions
Yeah.
are never easy.
Yeah. So
Never.
I kind of want to go with, there's a couple that I follow. They believe it started in the 60s, 70s, I think. I can't remember. There was one she put an exact year. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to me because of what occurred in the world and how she put it.
Yeah.
It's like there's debate about the 5D, right?
Yeah.
The fifth dimension. Like,
Yeah.
if you guys seem to follow that kind of talk and thread,
Yeah. Very
because
interesting.
a lot of them are saying what 2020 was the year it started, and I don't believe that. I feel it happened sooner.
Me too. I'm
I
absolutely certain. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like 2008.
I'm with you. 2008 was the shift. I know it was.
Yeah,
And
I
yeah.
think so.
So we're still
Yeah,
feeling that. So we're a decade
yeah,
beyond what you and I know to be the shift of the century.
yeah.
And then we came into 2012, remember the end of the world, the Mayan prophecies, we all had that
But
on
that was,
us.
I think, another leap towards the
Yes,
5D, right?
I do.
That's what I believe. And it's like, it doesn't happen like that. I don't,
No.
so people, if anyone believes like, oh, we changed dimensions like that, it's like, no, 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 no.
Mm-mm.
Like, we got so much to clear up and get,
Yeah.
like to overcome. It's not, I wish it
Yeah.
was sometimes, like
I do
just
too.
that leap over, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
because
it's true because that's where our imaginations really have to come into play. Though we've got to stop with this fear mongering of Armageddon and end of world prophecies
yeah,
because it's just better for our state of mind and well being, honestly.
yeah,
Because we are jumping timelines every day. When you remember a memory, you're in a different timeline, and when you're imagining a future, you're in a different timeline in that moment. If you think about that, I mean, the timelines are running through our brains at all times because we're always projecting the future and we're always remembering the past of where we've been. So that is a traveling timeline. That is 5D to me. It's not this separate out of body experience or death. You know what I mean? That's
mhm,
coming. Like, why jump there now? So there's all these dimensions around us at any given time. Anyone you're looking at is a different timeline for you in that moment. So we have to bear the birthing pains of these shifts and changes because we are becoming more consciously aware
mhm.
of ourselves. We're more self-aware in this
Yeah,
universe. So that's a big shift. So
yeah,
but there's a crossroad there, right? So there's this fearful future, and then there's this, let's go with this, let's move with this, let's elevate with this, so that we're not stuck behind commiserating of what used to be and how it used to be. So
yeah,
I want everyone to really pull together and support each other through these harsh times because there's no one that has escaped it, rich or poor, as we can see with these
yeah.
things bursting wide open.
That's right.
So
That's right. That's
yeah.
right. Yeah, and I think that's part of the 5D is to like we got to stop all this competition stuff,
Yes, there can only be one. That's
right?
bullshit.
And
Yeah,
who's better and all these different classes because the five number is not about it doesn't like see it's freedom, it's being open, so it doesn't see these lines. There's no division. It likes to like everyone's included. So it doesn't matter
yes,
your race, your religion, your sex, your nationality. It's because like you're all part of my group. That's what the five likes.
to do.
Okay, because
Yeah,
it's called yeah. So
yes, inclusive.
we're
Yeah,
that's what we got to do, and we got to stop pointing fingers and competing. It's your fault. It's my fault, or whatever, right?
yeah,
Like that's something that we've got to heal and stop. So,
absolutely. The
or stop
judging.
and heal.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we
Yeah.
do. We have to stop judging. Like these offshore accounts, we don't
Hmm.
know what. We weren't there. We didn't do that. It's not something we can imagine. But people get into trouble all of the time over money, right?
Yeah.
People get in trouble. So just we have to be more compassionate. That's what we have to be,
Yeah.
is more compassionate for people who are falling right now, because we've fallen. we know how bad that hurts. So instead of laughing while they're down, what can we do to help? What can we do to make things better so that people aren't hoarding while people are starving? What can we do to fix that, you know?
Yeah. And it's, I mean, it just makes you think like, I don't know. I want to say like with some of them, it's like, you know, how many people struggle to support them?
Yeah.
Are they now, is it going to, because this is all out in the open, are they going to now start supporting us because now we know?
Maybe.
We know.
Yeah.
You
It's out there.
We'll see. Time will tell.
Time will tell. So let's be hopeful about that. There is a day for equality. I believe. I believe that instead of this contrast of rich or poor, right?
Yeah.
So so that's what the 6 is about, though, is finding that, building that bridge back together now that we've been so polarized and we see it's either civil war or we come together, you know, and it can go both ways.
It's about community.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the month like we're creating community and people want to feel like they belong. So that's one of the things. People want to feel like they belong. And it's like, who's my family? Who's my community? Where do I find my support and where do I feel supported? And that's changing for a lot of people. So it may not be your actual family. It could be your, you know, fitness family. It could be your YouTube family. It could be, I don't know, what other, like dog walking family. Like it's going to be, it could be us. Yeah. So that's where you go because, and that's okay, right? Like don't restrict yourself. Don't feel like, oh, I have to stick with this person, especially if they do you harm or you don't feel supported in that group or by that person. Then find a way to find, you know, go to where you feel supported and you feel like you can be you, because that's what this is about now. This is the times where we're learning, like, I'm going to be me, or this is who I am, right?
Oh, yes. I mean, we've put up our boundaries at this point. We know what our boundaries are. We know what we can tolerate and what we just can't tolerate. So that's the perfect place to be, right? Now we can move forward with those boundaries, with those new ideas, new people, sometimes new work, new lives, you know, but it's time to come together.
Yeah, it is. So I guess that leads to one of the other themes. So it's a month of, so community and support.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes like community is about like the service. So it can be like, okay, in your neighborhood, it could be a certain agency, right? So if that's like, we're in different countries, so I want to say, so it could be a certain charity that you need support from, like a food bank or the Salvation Army. I don't know what else, but it could be that. It could be a government agency if you're able to get help from them for the time being. It could be, it could be your neighbor. It could be your friend.
Reach out to them and see if you can help. And that will come back to you. It really will. People are afraid to reach out because they've been so judged, you know?
Well, and I think too, it's like how many of us have been taught, like, no, when you do it, you got to do it on your own and you got to figure it out on your own. I mean, to a point that's true, but sometimes, we do need the help. We do need the support. And I think that's part of it. And that's maybe, I think, what we're creating too now. It's like, okay, what does community look like? And it could be like, oh, I'm going to start a community garden. And whoever wants to come, and it's like, we're growing our own fruit and vegetables now, and everyone is welcome to the bounty. It could be, some are going to create like, oh, let's have a community housing. Like, it's like all this is going to come and start to show up. I mean, it's work in progress. It's being introduced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we just have to get the momentum of that going, you know, these communities.
Yeah.
Even Facebook has become really good for me for that, because I join all these community boards, garden boards, local boards like that. And it's really wonderful for that. You really are with your community, even if you can't get out of your house. You
Yeah.
can look for a group that's local.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know?
There's something out there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. Um, I'll do this one last, but so I wrote bring to the table. So I feel in a way that kind of has to do with community and support and belonging.
Yeah.
So I think, this is a time where, okay, what can I bring to the table? Because I feel like people want to contribute now too. People want to feel like they are bringing something to their community, or they feel like they want to support too, right?
Sure. Oh,
That's
yeah.
going to go, yeah. Also to maybe like what others are saying, like, I'm going to bring this to the table that will help you, or this community. What can you contribute to? I'm finding that out the last few days. I've been getting people reaching out to me like, I'm creating this community. I want to bring
Yeah.
this to the table. What can you bring to add to the, and it's interesting
Yeah.
how that works. So
I
yeah.
love that. Well, of course. Yeah. You keep adding energy to those kind of causes, and boy,
Yeah,
we can only get higher and higher, right?
that's right. Yeah, it's a win-win.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then own and ownership. So literal sense, it's going to be like, okay, there'll be news and maybe focus on what we own materially. So like the housing industry or market, our homes.
Mm-hmm.
It could be about businesses. Also to like owning our stuff, like taking ownership, like this is how I feel, this is what I did or do,
Yeah.
my thoughts, my beliefs, like owning them, even if they're not agreeable, and even if you're in the wrong, right? Like own it. And
Absolutely. There's nothing more freeing than truly owning yourself and your actions and your thoughts. You know, just own that. That's the first place to start, even if it's frowned upon that you think that way or that you're feeling that way, because that's how you get through it. If you don't, then it just continues to go on where you're blaming everybody else for your failures. You know, it's
mhm.
just too easy to do, to say, well, I couldn't do that because of this. You know, just own that. Well, I didn't want to, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I know,
It
and it's
could
not
start
always
with that.
easy because it's about
No.
responsibility. And the idea of that is like, do not lay blame. That's
Yes.
if anybody's going to remember anything from this forecast and for the whole year, okay, starting now until all of next year, do not lay blame, because the more you do, the worse things are going to turn out and unfold in your life.
That's right.
And I don't care, it doesn't matter if it isn't your fault, or if you're adamant, like, no, it's because of this or because of that person. I don't, you know what? The number six energy doesn't care about that. They want you to own, like, because you had a part in it, whether it's how you felt, what you thought, what you did, it doesn't matter. They just
Yeah.
want you to say, like, okay, this is how I felt in all this. I'm owning it, my part, or this is what I did, or I
Yeah.
didn't do this. Even if it's you didn't do, like owning something, and
It's
you'll realize how much easier it'll be. Yeah, go ahead.
that's part of breaking the chains. That's how we can
Yeah.
move on from the 5 into the 6 with our real freedom, when we take responsibility for our own lives and blame no one for,
Mhm.
because if you're blaming everyone for your failures, who are you going to blame for your wins? Whose fault is it when you win? You know, is that yours, but the failures aren't? You know, so it's not as
Mhm.
sweet. It's just not, when you're blaming. But when you can own your failures, and that's what I'm talking about. You said the wrong thing. You thought that was something else. You know, it's okay to say that. I didn't know. I didn't know all the facts at the time, so I thought that was completely different than it is. That's
Mhm.
okay. It's okay. You know, they come down on the Democrats really hard in the USA, because they say we, not that I'm a Democrat, you know me, I'm in the middle, but they say that we say I'm sorry for everything. We apologize too much as a
Mhm.
Democrat. And I see what they're saying, that makes you weak. that to apologize makes you weak. And I so disagree with that. I think people can be wrong. I think when people know better, they do better. So why can't you say, I didn't know any better at that time? Why can't we learn and grow? And own that growth. Own that growth. I did that. I learned that. I did that. So that when you win, you can say, I did that. It was me. It was not the help of anyone else, right?
Yeah.
And own your successes. So it's just too hard to own your successes when you won't own your failures. And sometimes that's just a wrong word that you didn't mean.
Well, I'm Canadian. Sorry is part of our everyday vocabulary.
I think I need to live there.
That's something we're teased and we joke about it amongst ourselves. It's like how much we say sorry as Canadians.
I love you.
And it's true. Like I catch myself, like I'm like,
yeah,
especially when I'm dealing with other people from other countries, the amount of times I say sorry to them, I'm like, oh, is it? I'm so Canadian. Like, I've got to stop that.
No,
but then you're saying this about sorry, and it's like, okay, I don't feel so bad then.
I agree with you 100%. Do not feel bad, because that's what we all have to get to. What is wrong with that? To say I didn't mean that, right? So I love that.
Yeah. Okay.
We're a bunch of cowboys here or something right now. But
yeah. Well, we're so similar. We get each other.
Right?
I call you're in my heart. You're Canadian.
Oh, thank you. I accept. We're getting better here.
Now, will you get up here?
Right, here I come.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Health and well-being. So 6 is about health and well-being. So yes, like how our body functions, right? But also the health of everything, because it encompasses. So if, let's say, if your finances aren't healthy, you're gonna find out, well, my health is suffering, like my physical health, or in some way, right? Or if you're working in an environment and it's not healthy, it's going to affect other, like your relation. You're going to people are going to become more aware of that. They're going to see the correlation more and more.
Yeah, for sure.
With the 6 energy, so they're going to realize, like, oh my gosh, like if I don't take care of this, this is how I feel, or it affects this area of my life too. So it's a lot of things related to well-being and health is going to come up. We need to eat well, and I think the food industry is going to be under the gun. Like they're going to be scrutinized, and maybe this is like where we do like take a good look at the diets and the food sources and how it's grown and processed, all that, like, which would be good, right? Because
absolutely.
Because I don't understand. Okay, when you go grocery shopping, the healthy foods are so much more expensive than the junk foods.
Right, here too.
And it should not be that way. That's what I would like to see change, is like it should be the other way around. The junky food should be really expensive and the healthy food like really affordable.
It's disgusting, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It's the dumbest thing. Poverty in the US is directly linked to obesity, poverty. Well, yeah, they're thinking, well, they have enough money to eat. Well, that's just not true. They're eating pure junk. That's all they can afford. It is so much less expensive to go to McDonald's than it is to go get fruits and vegetables here. So it's ridiculous. It's got to change. We have to start for me, that's where we start taking responsibility and owning what we put into our bodies. I have my own garden. I know, that. And I've been eating organically for many years now. The 3 of us are very organic based with what we're putting into our bodies. We don't trust corporations. We just don't. And so we're very mindful of and we never used to be. We were always those people at McDonald's every day and junk food and ho-hos and Twinkies. We were. I didn't even think about it until I started really feeling it. I started feeling weaker, and it affects my mind, body, and soul, all 3. And I can't function without all 3 cleared. And It's just too much junk anymore. You have to really be mindful. You can't just
Yeah.
say, well, they have my best interests at heart.
And they don't, because
Because they
it's
don't.
about the money.
That's right. It's all about the
Yeah.
money. Yeah.
And it's easy money for them because it's like they're using junk ingredients
Mm-hmm.
that's cheap, right?
That's why Rosie started making her own soaps and lotions
Oh,
and lip balms, because even those products,
yes.
it's going into your skin. It's getting in there, and there's no need for it. It's purely
Yeah.
money based the way they're making these products too. So
And that's part of
yeah,
the well-being, and that's part of the well-being and the health. So that's what, you see what I mean? So it's like we're gonna figure out like, oh, it all is connected, right? And
mm-hmm.
including like our environment. So it's like, what we use for cleaning products, or
Yeah,
the type of, I don't know, maybe the materials we use in our home. I mean,
that's
it's
right.
daunting, but it's like we gotta do something. And then even like the air, the land,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yes,
the water, like all of
yeah,
that is like we're going to be looking at the health of those,
which is
all
good.
those elements, because people are gonna realize like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, because I know some people, it's not because they're being stupid about it, it's
No,
just they're just not, I want to say, they never paid attention to it before. That's how I like to look at it. I like to give
yeah,
them the benefit of the doubt, right? They didn't
that's how
have to
I
worry
was.
about it. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
like now the time has come, they're going to say like, oh, yeah, the air is really affecting my breathing today. Like,
right.
maybe we
Yeah,
should do something about it. Or
it's like
I can't
total
have,
recall
yeah, or
where you can't breathe.
I can't have this smelly thing in my home
Yeah.
because it's affecting my health, right? So, because it could
Yes.
be a chemical, so
Absolutely.
yeah, it's
I
it's
think people
huge.
are automatically starting to turn toward that too. It's just
Yes.
more well-being and less. We went through that huge opioid crisis worldwide too, where everyone was on pain pills addicted, and it was horrible. It was so hard.
Hmm.
And so now that we're coming out of that, especially in the U.S. I don't know how Canada was, but the U.S. was really, really bad with pain pill addiction.
Mm.
So now that they're cleaning their bodies out of those chemicals, and I know so many people that have, God bless them, it's not an easy road to recovery from that. But because you're numbing everything, who doesn't want that, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know. So it's both. It goes both ways.
It goes
So
both
I mean,
ways.
yeah.
Yeah,
So our health and well-being is coming into focus, and
yeah, it
there'll be more
is.
talk about that. Yeah. I mean, we could
Yes.
go on and on because there's so many
Yeah,
things
I love
connected
that.
to it, right?
Yeah, and there's so many ideas people have. I want to hear what other people are doing too to make sure they're eating right and living right,
Yeah.
and that has to do with the mind too. You have to let these chains go. You have to lay down the burden of what's holding you back and just lay it down. Just move forward without them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll talk. Okay. So lighten the load.
Yes, lighten
That's
the
the
load.
big message for this month.
Yes,
It's about putting down our burdens, not picking them up anymore. Like, what are you going to set down? What are you going to drop off from your life?
yes, I love
Because
this.
because it's like, you can't do it anymore. It's too heavy. It's too much,
It is. Yeah,
right? It's almost like, it could be about like, do you own that? Are
yeah,
you responsible for that? So it could be anything, whatever, you just feel like you'll know, because it'll feel like, I can't take this anymore. That's how
yeah,
it'll show up for you. I can't take it anymore. No more,
yeah.
no more. And so it's time, that's your clue to set it down so you can continue on your journey, right?
That's absolutely. Yes, that's the 10 of wands you were talking about in the
And the
energy.
donkey.
And the donkey. That's right. It's
Yeah.
time to own those. What I put down recently, I was talking to you about, is my defenses. I've
Mm.
been very defensive. I really have, trying to defend my point of view, my argument, my way of thinking. I've been so defensive, and I
That's
didn't
a good
realize
one.
it.
That's
Right?
a good one. That's a good one. Oh, I love that. See that?
Just
Yeah.
let it down, just let it down. And it's the only way I could start opening my heart again. I really had closed my heart off because I was hurt.
Yeah.
and my defenses just went right up and I didn't even realize it, So that's what I've laid down. And I think that's what a lot of people are feeling. They're laying down right now. It's almost a defeated, right? It's almost a surrender. I get that,
Yeah.
but it's time. It's time for me anyway to put that
But
down.
yeah, but I want to say it's not defeat because it ties in with your own well-being and your
I
own
feel
health because it's going to affect
free.
your health. Like like for me, I mean, I could name a handful of things that I want to unload, but I mean, a couple of the main things I've been working on is like worry. Because it's like, you
Yes,
know what, I'm tired of it. Like, I worry like too much. You
me
gotta
too.
stop. It's like,
I
so that's what I want to put down. And I can't think of another one, but anyway, that's a big one.
yes, I love that one.
Oh, and like figuring it all out because at
Yeah.
times I can even though I like this intuition or psychic stuff, at times I can get too much in my head and it's like, what
Yes.
if this? What if and I'm trying to figure
Mhm.
out like backup plans and
Yes.
just in case. And I'm like, you know what? I can't.
So true. I love
If,
that one.
and
Yes.
if I want to embrace more of my intuition and really step into and allowing more of the psychic stuff for myself, then I
Right.
got to lay that down. I got to
Absolutely.
stop overthinking things and thinking this and that, and because it's a burden.
Oh, yes. That's one of the
It weighs me
chains.
down.
Yes.
It
Absolutely.
paralyzes you. So yeah.
Yeah.
So people ask yourself, you'll know,
You
and
will.
you'll feel lighter. It'll be better. It'll work out. It's all for your health, your well-being. It'll help you move forward because you won't be able to move forward until you unload or lighten
That's
your
right.
load.
I love it.
So
Yes.
that
Lighten the
ties in
load.
with so that ties in with the Ten of Wands. Do you want to talk about that or the
I just
donkey?
want to show my favorite Ten of Wands card because talk about lightening the load, right? This is an
Mm,
end of a cycle as well. The tens are always end of cycles too. So just burn it away. Burn down your defenses and your worry and your anxiety. You'll catch yourself. You'll know, yes, this is holding me back. I simply cannot move forward with this worry of what I'm going to do or where am I going to be or who am I going to talk to about this. I'm the same way. I'm always trying to plan, and it's time to burn that away and
yeah,
finally let God take over. Just throw up your hands and I'm done and I'm worried about this and it's in your hands now. Or whatever you believe in, whatever higher power, whatever.
yeah.
Just know, though, that it's okay to burn that away because that's the first step in freedom. So,
Hmm.
again, it goes back to freedom and where we're heading towards.
Do you have that Ten of Wands from the Light Seers deck? 'Cause I
I
love
do.
that's a
Yes.
nice one.
This is the Ten of Wands from the Light Seer. All the baggage she's carried, all of the worry and planning and that's a lot, and the load is simply too heavy. This card is exactly that. Put it down. Don't carry it with you anymore. It's time for a new cycle. It's time. So
Yeah,
let it go. Yeah,
because as a collective like that, because there's a mountain behind
there
her.
is. There's a lot of work, right?
And it's lit. So it's like this is as a collective, that's what we're doing. We're on this path, like we're climbing this mountain since
Yeah,
I want to say 2008, but really, but
yeah,
we could go as soon as 2020 because that's how it hit the collective in a major way.
yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
So we're finding out like we can't take this with us when we're going up the mountain as a
Right.
collective. We gotta
I
put it
love that.
down or unload that. So
Yeah,
that's that all ties in. Like that's how that card is. So if we want to get to the top, we can't bring all that crap with us, can we?
mm-mm.
Because we won't
No,
reach it.
put it down. That's right. You'll never make it. Which
Yeah.
talks about the donkey, because I was telling you, I was reading this morning
Oh yes,
that
yes,
right
yes.
before a donkey sets out, if he
Yeah.
stops and he will not move, that he can't go that way, there's danger ahead and he knows it, some miraculous thing with the donkey. So we have to be more like that, right? We have
Yes.
to know where we're going, and if that's not right, if we can't make it, that's not the right way, right? That's not the right
Right.
path. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the same thing, like with repeating history or trying to bring something back. Like if we know like that's dangerous, to bring this again with us.
Yeah.
then we have to leave it behind. We have to unload it.
Or we won't make it.
Yeah.
We'll just be stuck like the donkey.
That's right. So the donkey is the spirit animal.
That's right.
Hee haw.
Hee haw.
And it's
I
good.
love.
It's got a lot of good qualities. I think the donkey gets a bad rap, and like a lot of bad jokes can be said about the donkey, right?
Right? The
And
jackass.
the
Yes.
jackass. So that did come through. So of course, I want to say, just be mindful because, oh, Julie, we lost Julie, so I'll keep talking. So just be mindful because at times, you know, you may act like an ass. And at times, you know, you'll have an encounter or interaction experience with someone who's an ass to you. And oh, Julie's back, so I'm just going to add her here.
Happens on YouTube too,
We
apparently.
were doing so well.
So we were. I was so impressed.
So much better than Facebook Live. And it's like, oh.
Yeah.
And
It
it
is
happens
less
when we're
glitchy,
talking
though.
about a jack. What an ass YouTube is.
You jackass.
Technology can be a pain in the ass. See,
Seriously.
so because of that, it's like there are some things that are going to happen this month. It's going to be a pain in the butt or a pain in the ass. And just
Seriously.
try to, you know what? Just try to see the humor in it. Like, just don't let it get to you.
Yeah. Put it down.
Right?
Yes. And, you know, but we say put it down, but perseverance is very important here too. Perseverance through some of the naysayers, because there are so many of them that you can't do that. They want to tell you what you can. They want to be your donkey, right?
Mm.
They want to guide you down the right path. And so just be mindful of that too, because you're finding your own freedom. You don't want to have anyone to blame for your successes, you know, just like with your failures. So, just be mindful of people trying to push you to what they think is the best way for you, because your higher self does know. Your higher self is the donkey.
Yeah.
It really is. It's guiding you at all times. It knows what's ahead, your higher self.
Yeah, because donkeys, apparently they're an animal that knows boundaries. And
There
that
you go.
ties in with, so really it's a good month to practice boundaries, to set boundaries, to try to keep your boundaries. And that means being stubborn. Like if that means, you know, you dig in and don't move, then that's what you do. Or if you give a kick, because donkeys kick, right?
Yeah.
Then if you kick that idea or that person out, and it doesn't have to be forever, it could just be for that moment or that idea, that's
right.
what you need to do.
Absolutely. Just persevere and follow your own intuition here, because your boundaries are set. Your defenses might be up or down, but they're yours. They're not others. Don't let anyone impose upon you what their fears are.
Yeah.
Let that be their fear, and keep going.
Yeah. I was going to suggest too, because I mean, there's so much that can be said about the donkey. To also, I recommend, or we both recommend, you know, reading the spiritual meaning of the donkey. There's many, many different sites.
Yes.
So just explore and see what, you know, you'll have your favorites and you go with that one, or 2 or 3, because a lot of them are similar, but you know, you want to look at the main traits and themes, because that's our medicine. Those are the traits that are going to influence us, but also to strengthen us as well. Like that's where the medicine comes in, right? So call in on the good qualities of the donkey to help you out if you're struggling or stuck. I also we recommend like reading just the actual, would you call it the actual meaning of the donkey? So like the science, or like the, I don't know, like biology, or like the animal meaning, because right, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, because I mean there's things that, like you read, like they sense danger, so I think that would be like an animal trait meaning, so that would apply. And then also, of course, there's so many sayings and metaphors about the donkey that will play into, right? Like, and games, like I was like, oh yeah, there's pin the tail on the donkey.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Right. So it's almost, and then I mean, I don't know how that would play out. It's not like, unless it becomes a popular game.
Right? I loved it growing up.
Pin the tail on a donkey makes it come back.
Right?
In
Nothing
the
better than
gaming
a
world,
4-year-old with a dart, right? Just in blindfolded.
blindfolded.
And twirled. Remember they would
Yeah.
turn, yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I hated that game. I really did. And then I think a
It's
lot
a
of
sucky game. It
pinatas,
was
aren't they a
sucky.
donkey?
Yes, and pinatas are
Right?
donkey. You beat them with a stick, you hit
That's
someone else
kind
in
of
the head.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. And then
Terrifying.
the other thing too I thought of last night was the Republican Party in the States.
Oh yeah, they're donkeys.
Symbol is the
Makes
donkey.
sense.
So I wonder if they're going to be in the news or they're going to be. I mean, they do
Yeah.
act like jackasses.
Right? I hope they're all fired that's
But
in the
more
news.
so, like what's going to happen? I'm wondering if there's going to be something like
Maybe.
spectacular or big or huge news connected
Maybe.
to the Republicans in the States.
Yeah. I hope
Mhm.
so. Texas, are you listening?
They're so
Come
bad,
on. So bad. So
so bad.
infuriating. These are the things I
I
can't
know.
look at. I
I
can't
know
because
me
I
neither
get
because I
so
get
mad.
and I'm
Yeah.
not American, and it's like, oh,
Right? I would be that way if that was
yes.
happening in Canada. I really would.
You know what? It's like we want to kick them in the ass,
Exactly.
right?
Kick them right in the ass.
Maybe
Yes.
maybe that's the thing. Maybe some of them are going to be kicked out, or
I
maybe they're going
saw
to get a kicking. I wonder.
I
That
saw
would
there
be
was a
good.
huge march in Texas over the weekend for these
Mm,
laws that are being posted. So let's see what the people do. Let's see, right?
yeah,
Maybe that
that
will
would
be
be
the
something.
turnaround. Yeah.
Maybe time will tell.
Time will tell. We'll
Yeah.
see.
So keep your eyes and ears open, folks.
Yes, that's right. More to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Is there anything else you wanted to share or
Boy,
say?
I think that was great. I think we covered it all. I don't feel like I have anything lingering. Do you?
You know, it was quiet because we're so used to when we do this on Facebook, the chat room lights
Yeah,
up. I want to say like there's all
it
these
does.
comments and questions and yeah, and
Right?
it's just been so quiet. It's almost like just you and me.
I know. Where's Eleanor and Shirley and Hazel and everyone?
I know. We miss all the regular,
We
and I'm
miss
wondering.
them.
I hope they're not fretting like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
missing the show or what's going on.
Right?
So as soon as I'll have this posted on Facebook, and I'll put a explanation and
Yeah.
yeah, and they can watch it later, and we'll check in. We'll check in with
Yes,
any comments. If anybody says anything afterwards, we will.
we
Julie's
will.
excellent for that. She's better at that than me because she'll reply to everyone. And I'm a little bit more lazy. I'm like, oh,
I'll let Julie reply.
I'll just, yeah, Julie can take over.
I love it. I love talking to every single one
I know
of
you
our
do.
ladies, and I just love it. So let
Yeah.
me do it.
So
Yes.
I'm not being an asshole with it. It's
No,
just, you're just being lazy.
I speak for us when I
Yeah,
speak.
yeah, you do.
Right?
So, I just want to thank if anyone's watching this live right now on YouTube, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, and hope that you come again. And I guess
Yes.
I'll just do this announcement because I know people are going to watch the recording afterwards. So Julie and I, we will be back next Monday. It's the 11th, even though it's a holiday. So it's Columbus Day in the States, and I don't know how that will go
Right?
because he's not well liked right now, is he?
No. No.
And
Probably a protest. I'm going to ignore it and stay inside.
they'll probably kick his statues in the butt.
Right? Probably.
Knock him
Got that
down.
right.
And in Canada, it's Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice. We have a lot to
And
be
our
thankful
Thanksgiving
for.
is completely different because the reason why we celebrate it has to do with the farmers. Because
Nice.
we get winters a lot sooner than the States, and we get colder.
Yes. Yes.
So our Thanksgiving is to celebrate the harvest because the farmers should all be done by then, and they get together and have like a meal to celebrate and be grateful for the year that had passed. So
I love that.
I think our holiday is really precious. So, but we're still going to be here, and
Yes.
it's going to be our most popular show. It's the free mini psychic readings.
Yes.
So Julie will be doing, I hate that, sounds dirty. Julie will be
Doing the tarot.
she'll be doing the tarot.
It's gonna be
Dirty
good.
Julie, bad Julie.
The
And I'll be
sexy
doing
tarot.
numerology. So Julie will be using tarot cards and I'll be using numerology. So we hope you guys can come for that. And
Yes.
I'm going to say I think a lot of Canadians should, because most of us celebrate on Sunday
There you go.
because we like to travel on that day. Like especially if they're like visiting family in a different city or province, they usually travel back home that day. But anyways, that's enough. That doesn't really matter. It's just we just hope everyone can come.
Right.
And
yes, join us and ask a question. Yes.
Yeah, so come and bring your question, or if you're just open to whatever we share, we will do that.
Yes.
Because we won't be having a show on the 18th or the 25th, right? Yeah, of the month, because we have other commitments. So that's how it worked out. It happened to fall on Mondays. We can't help it, but we'll be back
November
in November.
1, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. We can do November's energies.
We'll do November's energies, yeah. See, we're getting good. We're getting ahead. Good. We're not waiting till the last minute for everything anymore.
I know, we've just been winging it.
The night before, what are we going to talk about tomorrow?
Right? I don't know. And then we still don't know 5 minutes before.
I gotta make something happen. So, but I always have a post made up, and we'll announce what the show is, when, and what it's all about. So do check that out on the Facebook page, Enlightened Energy. And then again, if you like this forecast and you want a reading with one of us, as you can see scrolling at the bottom is our contact info. We don't share our phone numbers for safety reasons, is one of them. So email. So Julie's email is below, and mine is below too. I don't know if anyone can see that. There's another one here. That one's a bit bigger. I always forget to do that when we're near the final minutes. Show the bigger one. And it doesn't go across like, what? I missed that. What?
Oh, there it goes. Yeah. I can see us on YouTube now, at least.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
I can't. Yeah. I can't tell if anyone's on there, but I don't know.
I see one.
One. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming, whoever.
At least we have one.
That's right.
You're our YouTube friend.
We'll grow. Yeah. Perseverance.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. Yes.
It's all good. So yeah, well, I guess that's it. We're done. That's October 2021's energies in a nutshell. Everyone, be well, be safe,
yes.
And we'll see you again soon. Have a divine October, right?
Yes, absolutely. Have a great October, everyone, and love and light.
Yes. Thanks, Julie. Love you.
Thanks, Tina. Love you too.
All right.